the news are constantly changing, and how do we adapt to this world, right? So that's a little bit of what I'm going to be talking today, how the Coca-Cola company is doing to move as fast as the world is moving. And actually, if we move as fast, we will fail, because innovation always needs to be behind. So we need to be even faster than the world. And the world is spinning very, very, very fast. So, So this is just intended to provide some of the key areas of the R&D innovation model in Coca-Cola. Hope it is helpful for you. And I'm very open to answer any question later. So let's see. By the way, my name is Diana Escoda. I'm the R&D General Manager for Coca-Cola. So I can present myself. Okay, so we have an issue. Okay, now. Where's the... No, I need this. Here? Okay. I don't think it's working. This doesn't work? Sorry, it's not working. Technology. I think I will click here on the computer. Okay, I'll do it this way. This is, I think, it's fine, I'll click the computer. I'll do it the old way. If we see the speed of innovation, basically we have, at the beginning of the century, some of the innovation took about 40 to 50 years to reach 90% penetration, to reach 80% penetration. So people was adapting really, really slow, right? And we have even great innovation there. We have things like the telephone, we have things like the electricity, that is the yellow one, that you could argue that's something very, very important. People should be very interested in that. But still it took a long time to adapt to that new innovation. Then we have like a second set of innovation that took a little bit less time. We have things like the dryer machine, the color TV. The color TV is still as important as it is. It took about 20 to 30 years to reach 80% penetration. But things were starting to move faster, right? We see the latest one, and this is not even the latest. I don't have the latest. I would like to see the innovation that happens last year, because last year probably takes only 1 year, 2 years. You buy something, and 6 months later it's already obsolete. So basically, what we see is the latest innovation, things like the cell phone, took only about 10 years to reach 80% penetration. So things are moving every time faster, and consumers are really demanding for more innovation. They want new things. One example we have is that we have, all of you that have teenagers, they love to play video games. When you do a little bit of research on why do they like to play with video games, one of the things that always comes is the constant change. We love video games because they are all the time changing. They never play the same thing twice. They always have different characters, different scenarios, different backgrounds, different battlefields. It's constantly changing. And more and more and more the consumer is looking for that. So think on that on your products, because more and more the consumer is looking for diversity. One version is not enough, one product is not enough. We need to have diverse products. So we see the world, and the video before that we saw was talking a little bit of that. Things are really moving very fast. We see the growth of urban population, 20% it's not even the next 10 years, from 2010 to 20s. We have 70% of increase in expenditure. We're expecting to increase 70% only in a decade. That's a huge amount. That's a huge amount of new consumers coming in, demanding for new products. The good news for a lot of the people that is in the room, not only for Coca-Cola, is that one of the areas that is actually growing the most is the beverage area, is the NARTD products, right? And that makes sense because people, they need to refresh themselves, they need to hydrate themselves, right? So that's one of the areas that we're expecting to grow the most, and that's where we need to focus on where we play, right? So yes, things are moving fast. The world is spinning. How do we adapt to that? And I'm just going to give, it's like kind of an ABC of some of the things that we are doing at the Coca-Cola company. We are doing obviously a lot more. We have huge programs going on behind a lot of the platforms. I'm not going to go into that detail. I'll have some examples at the end of this type of innovation. I have 3-4 examples at the end that I think I bring to life when I'm trying to communicate. The first thing that we are doing, I believe that is working for the company, is that we are at the right place. The Coca-Cola R&D organization is relatively small. We're about 500 people in R&D globally. But the second largest R&D center is actually in Shanghai. I like to say that we are in the center of the world, right? Everything is happening in Pacific, and we are developing products here for Pacific, not only for China. If we see, for the Coca-Cola company, China, Indonesia, and India, just those 3 countries represent 78% of the expected growth, 78% of the expected growth for the Coca-Cola International Company is coming only from those 3 countries. Somebody was asking me before, how important is China for Coca-Cola? It's huge for Coca-Cola, okay? So the first thing that we are the right place. We are investing in China. We're investing in our R&D center. We not only have the second largest center, we have some of you, especially the suppliers, have been into our location. We have state-of-the-art labs, and we are really investing where we should be. We are not going to be able to win in China. We're not going to be able to win in India out of Atlanta, out of a basement in Atlanta with some geeks developing products. The other very, very important area, and this is an area where this is very core for the company, because of that, because we don't have a huge R&D organization. I come from Procter & Gamble. Procter & Gamble has like about 6,000, 7,000 employees working in R&D. Very different structure. When you move to Coca-Cola, where we only have 500, we need to be a lot more agile. How do you connect to the technological possibilities? Innovation is something very simple. Innovation has 3 elements. And you need to master the 3. You need to understand what's needed, what is what the consumer wants, what is what's needed from the agricultural point of view, what is what we need from the business, from the process point of view, what is the need. You need to know what are the technological possibilities, what is available. All the technology. I believe that everything that we need has already been invented. What is very difficult is to find where, right? And how to combine those pieces of technology so that you can make a bigger technology. So that's the second area, to understand where is that technology. That's the second part of innovation. And the third part of innovation, which is the most difficult part of innovation, is connecting those 2. How do you connect that need? How do you put the people that is aware of the need, aware of the consumer habits, aware of the local needs, in contact with the technological possibilities? And that's an area where we have been very, very focused in the last years. So basically in Coca-Cola, we have 6 R&D centers located around the world. They are all connected. Not everything that we do for China is done in China. A lot of things are done in Brussels. A lot of things are done in Atlanta, and even in Japan and in Latin America. We have 9 external technology acquisition hubs. And I don't know if you know what these ETA hubs are. The Coca-Cola company, basically, we have partners with key institutes and research, and we have created hubs that basically connect in a multitude of areas to explore technology's possibilities outside of Coca-Cola. We have currently several hundreds of agreements going on from suppliers, which is an obvious one, but research institutes. We are working with MIT, we are working with 3M, we are working with Berkeley, we are working with CSIRO. In India, we have several universities that we are working with. Several of our programs in plastics, in bio-PET. So that's work that we're coordinating internally, but a lot of that is being done through different connections with universities. So the ETA program is very, very strong. And that's connecting with all these dots are all these partnerships and possibilities, even governmental organizations. So all of that is connected. And what is very, very neat, it's not only connecting, it's not only that we go to them and ask them, we need this, do you have it? That would be very limiting. We go to them and we said, what do you have for me? And we always get the same answer. I still remember the first time that we went to an engineering university in India. They say, I don't know, what can I do for Coca-Cola? Coca-Cola never change. You have a formula that never changes. So what can you do for Coca-Cola? So when you start explaining all the world of Coca-Cola, equipment, packaging, plastics, PET, biodegradability, sustainability, juices, agriculture, you see a huge universe that a lot of people were not aware before that Coca-Cola is interested. So we have done a lot of work going to a lot of universities and a lot of research institutes just to tell them we are interested. Maybe you don't have something today, but they will have something in the future. And so they know how to contact us. They know how to reach us, and they know that we are interested and very open to talk with them. The other area, we obviously have a very strong consumer understanding program, but very important is, just in Shanghai, we have people from almost all the continents. The only one missing is Africa. And maybe we need to hire somebody from Africa. Why this is important? Diversity is fundamental. I said it before, it's about connecting. And when you bring expertise from people that has been in other countries, that have been exposed to different cultures, they can connect different things. A product that is successful in Latin America, which we launched last year, for example, in Japan, mate tea. You wouldn't expect that mate tea was going to be so successful in Japan, because it's a very Brazilian product. It was a huge success in Japan. And like that, we have several examples, and that honestly didn't come from thorough consumer understanding. We did the consumer understanding later on when we had the idea. That comes from somebody saying, hey, this mate tea is very popular in Brazil, shouldn't we have it? And it's for young people, they relate to mate, they relate to Brazil, it's very cheerful, and that's how we create it. The other one that we don't talk a lot about in Coca-Cola, but it's becoming more and more and more important. Coca-Cola is a company that is about relationships. Those of you that have interacted with us, you know that. We are really serious about being a company about relationships. We invest time in building relationships. Because the fastest way of connecting with something is just call that guy that you know here and he knows there. I don't know if you have seen in Facebook, I'm a little bit old, so I still use Facebook. There is this challenge that basically tells you from any given name, from any given person in the world, you are connected through two connections. So basically, I am connected, and all of you is actually connected with every single person in the world through only two connections. So I know somebody that knows that person. So, I don't know how many millions of consumers or how many million people is in the world, but that's an idea that is fascinating. I can connect with anybody in the world just by telling this person who knows this person, that knows the person, put me in contact with this person. And, we can have systems. I don't know if there's people working in IT here. I love systems, they help. But there's nothing stronger than a personal relationship. When you really know somebody and when you really have had this face-to-face interaction with that person, that makes a huge difference on the speed. And the speed of the relationship, the speed of the work that is done, and the trust that you put on that. So in Coca-Cola, we're very serious about that. And we hire people that likes to do that, that likes to have time investing with people and building those relationships. I'm just going to put my example here because I happens to be the one talking here and I didn't want to use somebody else. But in my particular case, for example, if I put myself there, I have lived in 8 different countries, 8 different cities, not countries, 8 different cities. And I have worked for more than 20 countries. I didn't even put all of the countries there. So I have traveled more than 20 countries. I have spent significant amount of time, at least in all of those countries. I have worked in multitude of categories in different companies. And honestly, I don't care about that because that is useless unless I know people there, right? So in each of those points, I have a network of people that knows about surfactants, that they know about emulsions, that they know about biomaterials. So that's what we are trying to build stronger and stronger and stronger. And if each of the 500 people that we have in the company, in the R&D organization, has that network, we are basically connected to the world. So obviously we have a scale. That's a very obvious one. We have more than 500 brands in the company. We have more than 500 products in the brand. Again, the difficult part is to know which product do we make where. We have so many products that sometimes we don't even know. I don't remember. We have so many Sprites formulas, that are slightly different. But these are products and technologies that are available to us. We just need to pick and launch. So. And this is an area where we have been progressing, and we are trying to be stronger, is taking more risk, going faster to the market. Instead of spending a significant amount of money in doing a lot of research and understanding all the possibilities, we're just going and we're launching. Okay, we're launching in a small market. We're learning in a small market. We need to know when to stop and when to persevere. That's the tricky part, because if you see, there is a lot of people talking about innovation. Yes, let's go fast, let's go launch and learn and all of that. If you do that, most of the time you are going to fail. There are very few innovations that actually are successful the first time. The tricky part is when to persevere. And I'm using the example of the aviation, We have seen all of these videos on the first flights, right? That they crash and they crash again, and they crash again, and they crash again. Until somebody was able to fly for, I think the first flight was I don't remember, X amount of seconds, right? 5 seconds, 6 seconds. And then they were able to fly for a minute. And then now I think that the longest flight now is a 16-hour. That doesn't exist anymore, but we used to have a 16-hour flight. I think that was from Hong Kong to Canada or something like that. I don't remember. So the first guy didn't succeed, but he persevered. And that's probably the tricky part, But basically the idea is go fast to the market and learn fast. So I'm going to use just some examples, recent examples. One is a splash bar. Have you heard about splash bar? Because this is something that we have used in previous presentation. Splash bar, I like to think on a splash bar as the ultimate packaging. It's not a package, it's a dispensing machine, but it's the cheapest way to deliver a drink in India. This has been developed for India, for the rural area. It's a very, very simple dispensing machine. You basically take your 2 or 2.5 liter bottle, you put it upside down. We have a valve that is disposable, so you can keep it clean. And you can dispense for 5 rupees, which is a very few amount of RMBs, a Coke, a splash of Coke. In India, there is a huge amount of consumers that haven't ever tried Coke in their life. Okay, I grew up drinking Coke, so for me that is like, oh my gosh, So cost is obviously a barrier in India. So delivering to them this splash of Coke, this little cup of Coke that they can enjoy for only 5 rupees is a huge technological, is a huge innovation. This is working actually very, very well. Why am I mentioning this? This is a good example of one of these things that we did by connecting. We had a need in India. We have this incredible engineering agility mindset in India. We work with Atlanta on developing, the valves and the more sophisticated part of the technology, and we launched it. And we launched it the first. At the beginning, it took us only 3 months from the moment that somebody had an idea until we had the first prototypes. We went to the learning market. We learned certain areas about the valves. It was very difficult to clean the valves. And I'm talking that this is rural India. So they don't even have water, okay? It's like a little store, with no water. Some of them don't even have electricity. So we developed then say, okay, let's develop a disposable valve that they can change every day, and it needs to be a very low-cost one. So that's what we did. And then we extended the learning market with the disposable valves. And then we keep improving the product. We had other issues. We had some issues with the flies, with the mosquitoes. And then we developed, at the beginning, was a very low-cost, very I would say even not that nice net to cover the product. But then we developed one that is actually nicer. So we kept improving the product, and now we're expanding. In India, and we believe it's going to be a fundamental driver among low-income consumers to drive penetration of Coke. The other very nice example done by the Japan organization is the polar bear cooler. When we had the issue of the tsunami in Japan, and all the 54 nuclear plants shut down, we had a huge amount of vending machines in Japan. So more than half of our business in Japan is through the vending machines. So the government basically told us, well, sorry, so guys, but you need to turn off your vending machines because we don't have enough power for Japan. We don't have enough power for people and for hospitals and for everything that we need. Then what we did is we created a very innovative solution. We said, well, and this was developed in only about 2-3 months. We developed a new cooler machine, what we call the polar bear. Basically, it's a machine that you can turn off at night when we had more energy, and it keeps the product cool during the day. Coca-Cola is sold at 4 Celsius. So we had to develop a machine that was a vending machine able to turn on only at night, but then the product that was being dispensed during the day, it was still at 4 Cs. Another example of connecting with all the possibilities. We connected this with our European team, which is, they have a lot of specialization in isolation materials. We work with Atlanta, we work with Shanghai, and we develop this equipment able to do that. And I'm not going to go into the details of the technology, but it even includes ice and as part of it. So it's a totally different system on how we use the energy to cool down the products. And we launched it. So we were able to offer consumers a cold Coke without using the energy during the day that was so important for other important matters. So that kept our business basically running. The other example is a more recent one. Have you seen Schweppes Plus C in the market in China? Who has seen Schweppes C Plus C? You have? Have you tried? Good, okay. This is an example. I mentioned before that we have 500 brands and 500 products, right? This is an example of that. Schweppes is a very, very good success this year for the Coca-Cola company. It was one of these 500 products that were available in some country, in some market, right? In some little store there. So this product was available in Hong Kong. It was originally developed for Indonesia. We were selling it in Hong Kong. It was not our top priority in Hong Kong. We were there looking for opportunities and said, this would be a great opportunity for China. 2-3 months later, we had to do some minor tweaking of the formula to meet with regulations and to meet with everything in China, run stabilities. We launched, again, no major consumer research, not a lot of basis studies and concept and use tests and all of that. We just went and launched into a market. And sales just exploded in that market. And then we quickly moved to a national expansion, which is exactly where we are right now. And we have had several weeks and has been very successful so far. So this is the Coca-Cola model, and we have a lot of 1 billion brands, we have a lot of products, we have great products, we have great technologies, we have great people. We are small, but we are very agile. Is this a model that will work for everybody? I don't know. It works for Coca-Cola, okay? I think one of the presentations I read something about to succeed on innovation, you need to have a rigid organization. I think that's another model. That's definitely not Coca-Cola. We are very agile, moving. you can feel actually it's a lot of the brand equity in the company, I would say. I do want to, same as we have hundreds of brands and thousands of products, we have a million reasons to believe. Let me show you this. So this is honestly what we truly believe. This is what you feel every single day in Coca-Cola and in the R&D organization. And we truly believe that we are going to keep refreshing the world. We are going to keep delivering winning products. And we are going to keep the pace of the fast-moving world. I love this ad because I think it fully connects with what I believe about the world. You know, I think that we are moving, it's a fantastic world. You need to see the positive side of it. There are a lot of things that we need to be careful about, you know, sustainability, we need to be responsible. And I think that it's up to us, you know, and I assume that most of you here in this room, we work in R&D, and we have a fundamental role on really delivering and make sure that the world keeps moving in the right way. So that's it. Question?
Thank you very much, an excellent presentation. I'm betting there's some questions. Oh, yes, first one here.
Thank you, Diana. I would like to know that the Schweppes lemon tea you just mentioned is real success, and I would like to know what are the key factors to make. I mean, key factors to make it so successful, and how in the future how we can copy this business case and to make more products like that. Thank you.
Well, I think that depending who you ask that in the company, you will get a slightly different answer, right? Because if you ask one of the bottlers, they will say, well, we have, and I think all the answers are correct. We have great execution on one side, you know, so I'm going to start by that, which is not my area, but I think that we have great execution, distribution, pricing, you know, presence on the shelf. That is fundamental. You can have a fantastic innovation, great ideas, but if you don't have the execution, it's basically impossible. So starting by that, moving to the more R&D side, I think it is what I call a very kitchen logic benefit. We're delivering vitamin C. We have a huge C+ on the label, so it's very easy for consumers to go and see what is the benefit. It connects immediately with them. It's a sparkling product that delivers the vitamin C that they need. So I think it's a very clear, crispy, clear benefit. It's a great product. They love the taste. It connects with the lemon lime taste and connects with the benefit of vitamin C. So everything is a holistic package. It all connects. It's the label, the package, the refreshing image. It's yellow. It conveys refreshment. So you are looking for refreshment, and by the way, you are getting the vitamin C on that. So that's what is success. And you see, when you see products that have been very successful, it's like the creation of the wheel. I say, well, it's so obvious that we need a wheel, right? But somebody put it together the first time. So usually they are very common sense inventions. So I think it's a very simple proposition, very simple that goes straight to a consumer need. And again, I think has a great execution. Yeah.
Any more questions? Oh, we have one over here.
Thank you for the presentation. You mentioned that you work with partners outside for innovation. Can you also talk about so with this kind of approach, how does that also impact or change the roles of your internal team? For example, innovation project leaders or R&Ds. How does that change the roles of your internal team, your capabilities, and also your culture to be able to effectively incorporate your partners?
Well, I'm not going to say that is perfect, because nothing is perfect. But we try to avoid the non-invented here syndrome, right? Our role is to deliver winning products. If we invented, or somebody did it, or the supplier, or the whatever university did it, that should be transparent for us. Obviously, we need to make sure that all the profitability structure makes sense. But what we want to do is we want to deliver winning products to the consumers. We want to keep refreshing the world, and that's our focus. And that's what I keep telling to my organization. If it is done here, or if it is done even internally, if it is done in our Brussels R&D center, or if it is done in Atlanta, or if it is done by university, our role is to deliver that to the market, and that's how you receive the recognition. You were the one able to connect with that university, or the one able to connect with that other person in a different R&D center. That also is work. It's not only developing the formula in the lab. Maybe somebody else did that. There are so many, same as all of you, I keep receiving, emails from small companies that have created this super formula, or the other formula, or the other ingredient. I can't follow in all of them, to be honest, because then I would spend my whole life, checking on those. But there are a lot of small companies, a lot of research institutes, that they have solutions for very important problems, and they just don't have the scale, or they don't have the how to deliver that to the market. They don't have a manufacturing facility. They don't have a regulatory organization to deal with all the things that you need to deal to launch a product. So it's a fantastic partnership. It's basically a fantastic partnership, and what we are making sure is that they know that we are here and we are interested. So you suppliers, and if you are not receiving enough traction from the R&D organization in KO, let me know.
Is there any more questions? Any more questions from today's session on product innovation? So we've seen a cross-section of companies talk on innovation, from 3D to a number of ingredients company, and then with Coca-Cola's innovation story. So it's given us a good idea. And this afternoon, again, we've got some really good speakers coming up. And Mr. Young is going to do the chairmaning this afternoon. For your lunch today, it's downstairs at Escoda. Oh, thank you, Diana. That was excellent. Thank you very much. And lunch today is downstairs at E Cafe in the basement, and your lunch passes are at the back of your name tags. So you can start to enjoy your lunch. Yeah. Thank you.